Hey everybody, Dr. Nelson here. This is a video lesson about revisiting proportional relationships. Alright, so again, this is meant to be just a little review about just what proportional relationships are about. And hopefully this equation, k equals y divided by x, is familiar. So just a quick reminder. So the constant of proportionality. The constant is a constant value of the ratio between two proportional relationships, right? And let's say, for example, we have a scenario where the x values are hours and the y values are the miles traveled. So if we identify two quantities in a problem and one is proportional to the other, then we can calculate the constant of proportionality and use it to answer other questions about the situation. So for this part, let's just determine what the k value is, or the constant of proportionality. So again, we take a y value and we divide it by x. So here's our y value, 4. And here's our x value, 2. So when I do 4 divided by 2 for the k value, that's going to equal k equals 2. All right, so 2 is the constant of proportionality. So now what we can do is we can use that, okay, to fill in the rest of this table, which is proportional. So I'm going to say k is 2. Now the next thing I want to talk about is this equation, y equals kx. So once you know the constant of proportionality, you can find an equation representing the directly proportional relationship between x and y, named, okay, y equals kx. So once you know what k is, you can use this equation to fill in this table. So I'm going to write down y equals, and then k is 2, so 2 times x. And what you can do is you can plug in a value, right? So here we know x is 3. So to get the y value, I'm going to plug in y equals, right? I'm going to substitute the 3 for the x. So 2 times 3 is 6. So that means y equals 6. Okay? You can also use this equation, right, to go opposite to get the x value. So again, we know that y equals 2x. That's the equation. But this time I'm going to substitute the 10, right, in for the y. So 10 equals 2 times x. And you should know this is a one-step equation, so I'm going to divide both sides by 2. And I know when I do that, I get x equals 5. So this one's going to be 5. All right, but because again I know that k is 2, I'm just going to know that I can multiply 7 times 2, and this will be 14. And I can take this 22 and divide it by 2 and get 11, like that. All right, let's do one more problem together. This one's going to be a little more complicated because the constant proportionality is going to be a fraction, but really it's the same math. All right, so here we have a table. And notice the x values are the number of beads, okay? And the y value are the cost. And this whole table is proportional, right? So again, to get the constant of proportionality, remember, it's the y value divided by x. So here, I know the y value is 3, and the x value is 4. So that means our k value, right, is going to be 3/4. Now, if we wanted to, we could write that as a decimal, in decimal form, and call it 0.75. It's really the same thing. So now, we're going to take that number, and we're going to plug it in into our equation, right? Because that's the k value. So it's going to be y equals 3/4 times x. And let's just do 2 parts of this table, all right? So for this one, I know that x is 12. So what that means is I'm going to now use this equation, and I'm going to plug in 12 for x. And remember, when you multiply fractions, you can multiply the numerators and put it over the denominator, right? But one key step is, to save you time, is you can cross-reduce if you can, right? So I know 12 and 4 can be reduced down to, this is going to be a 3, and this is going to be a 1. And the way I did that is I divided both the 12 and 4 by 4, right? Common factor. So now when I do 3 times 3, I get 9, and 1 times 1 is 1. So I know that the y value is going to be 9. All right, let's do one more, okay? This one's going to be a little bit trickier, but again, it just involves fractions. So again, I'm going to write down our equation, y equals 3/4 x. But this time, I know y is 60, right? So I'm going to replace this 60, this y with a 60. So 60 equals 3/4 x. And now this is just a simple one-step equation. So 3/4 times x. So the opposite of timesing is dividing, right? And remember, the way you divide fractions is you multiply by the reciprocal. And the reciprocal of 3/4 is 4/3. So when I multiply by 4/3, notice how these all cancel out. And all that's left over is x. But now we have to do 60 times 4/3, right? Because what you do one side, you got to do this side. And when I do that, I can cross-reduce the 60 and the 3. I'm going to make that a 1 and make that a 20. So now, 4 times 20 gives us an x value of 80. All right. And there it is. So really, the two things I want you to be able to remember about this video, okay, is one, how to get the constant proportionality. And remember, that's y divided by x, right? And two, once you know the k value, you can use this equation to solve for either x or y. All right, good luck.